Checking in with some people who had a very good Friday night, including one of the first guys I met in racing way back in 1990. That's right, guys, do the math. That was 34 years ago. Love this picture, by the way, of John Clifford that he took. And this was the race right here. Bret Belden on the bottom, Joe Coonradt on the top. Bret Belden ended up getting the win at Utica Rome Speedway on Friday. So let's head out to West Edmonston, New York. One of the first guys I met. Bret Belden joining us. Bret, how we doing, man?
Doing good. Good myself. How are you?
I'm good. I am good. 4 wins last year. Got to feel good to get a win in the opener like this.
It is. It's kind of like it's not really a relief. It's like a momentum deal. You know, if you can come out of the gate with a brand new chassis that you put together and nothing comes apart and everything goes good and come off with a win, it feels like it puffs your chest out a little bit for a little momentum going into the season.
Yeah, and it's also, I would think, has to make you feel good to know that in the shop, everything you did was right. You know, you did everything right. You put a nice setup in. I can only imagine how satisfying that must feel.
Yeah, it was tough because we took the car 2 weeks ago and went to practice, and everything shook down well, you know, and then you come home and nut and bolt it and make sure everything's okay. And then you're still on pins and needles a little bit going to the opener because now you're going to get a full race into it. You're going to do your heat race and feature. So we went down to the opener last week and got our 8-lap heat race in, and everything still stays good and tight and everything. And then we got rained out. So now you got to wait another week. You don't change nothing on the car because you were ready to go. So you take it back, and you're just going to run a feature last night because Bret just decided to finish the show because there were so many cars and it was a special show.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
You're still a little bit on pins and needles just to get one full feature in on the car and make sure everything's okay.
That's true, because how many times have you gone 10 laps and then, we got a problem? So it's amazing how, like my mom used to ask me all the time, why do the cars seem to break so much? And I used to tell her every nut, bolt, every piece in that car is getting stressed to the limit. So, again, another reason to feel a lot of pride in the work that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this morning, the boys and I got her washed up. We got her on jack stands right now, and just overlooking it right now before we do our weekly maintenance and stuff on it, and everything still seems to look good. So mission accomplished, I guess you could say, Doug.
Yeah, so give it a good look over, check all the parts where the welds are and everything, look at the brakes, look at all the lines, all that stuff, look under the hood, make sure no fluid. That's basically what we did today?
Yeah, pretty much. After we got the car washed, we wash our tires, and then we go over the car, you know, make sure there's not a brake line that's getting pinched or something that's been turned, or just a quick look over before we start doing anything in case we got to order some parts or something, you know.
The picture you're looking at, too, you told me this was pretty much the race. Josh jumped out, then you caught him, and you said you guys went back and forth like multiple times.
Well, we started ahead of Josh, and then Josh got by us, and then we got back by him, and we go double file until the last 5 laps. And we started side by side on the front row for 3 restarts, and Josh was a little bit better on the top than we were. And once he got out front, I said, well, we had to abort and go to the bottom. And once I got to the bottom, I could see we were doing okay with him. So I pretty much stayed there and said, well, this is the road I'm going to take. And we ran side by side, and then the last lap in 3 and 4, actually Josh had a good run on the last lap going through 1 and 2, actually pretty much drove by us, went into 3 and 4, and then he jumped the cushion in 3 and 4 coming for the checkered. So we went on for the win. It would have been a close race by the time we got to the checkered flag.
So you don't know if he would have got it or not had he not jumped the cushion, huh?
I can't say.
Can't say.
I think so, but I can't say.
One thing I'm surprised, looking at the picture, looks like the track is a little drier than I thought it might be. They must have sealed it over during the week, I would think, getting ready for the rain.
Yeah, and they said all day or all week that the rain was coming, and then that day they said there wasn't going to be, and then the rain moved in, and they changed it. It was going to be here at 9, blah, blah, blah. So I think they did, and they didn't put a whole bunch of water on it and stuff just to make sure. In case it did rain, maybe they could save it, you know.
Right, exactly, and that was a smart move on their part. And did it happen just like it did with us at Fulton, just a little drizzle at first, and then the next thing you know, it's actually raining?
Well, that's the way it was. And it was funny because they went right through the whole show. They did the modified Victory Lane, and then they ran Toe Stocks, Sportsman, Limited Sportsman, and they ran the 4 cylinders and the Slingshots, and we were all out there for Victory Lane at once. And right after we got done, it just started sprinkling. It didn't downpour, but it started sprinkling, so it actually worked out perfect.
Yeah, and they got all the features in, so now they're back caught up again, right?
Yep, now we can go back and start right in next week with a regular show.
And I would imagine we're going to feel pretty good coming in that pit area, because especially not that just that you won, not the way that you won, but let's be honest, Josh is always on top of his game. He's a tough guy to beat.
Oh yeah. He is going to be the guy to beat. So to accomplish something like that, we feel pretty good.
Well, maybe that purple 81 will be the one to beat this year. Who knows, right?
You never know. The old guy might still have it, Doug.
How old are you now? I'll be 62 in a couple days.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that response.
No. I'm going to turn 64 in June.
Okay, I thought you were a year or two older than me. That just means you're a year or two wiser than me, Bret. Right? Is that a good way to look at it?
All right, I'm going to say that. Yep.
All right,
remember that when I see you.
Boy, I love this picture too that John took, because man, look at the way that left rear is driving underneath. We can even see the drive shaft underneath. Do you notice that when it does that as you're sitting in the car?
It's like, but the nice thing for me is coming from the late models. They used to hike up pretty good too.
So you're used to that, right?
It probably don't feel as much to me as it does some of the guys that are just getting used to these coil cars.
Good point.
So it gets over on the right front just like late models, and drives the left rear in the ground, and basically the same type deal.
Do you think maybe that time in late models is helping you today?
Possibly. I mean, they don't quite. I guess what I'm saying is these rear ends don't quite react as much as the late models do. But did it help with the coil spring setup? I'm sure.
Good. Who do you want to say thanks? I know you got a ton of people, and it starts obviously with your loving and understanding wife, Brenda. Yeah,
and that's a good point, Doug, because last night in Victory Lane, I got all my sponsors and everything, and I did forget one, so I want to put a shout out to Brodell Energy, because I forgot them in Victory Lane. I forgot my wife, forgot my daughter, son-in-law, and all the guys that helped me on the car. I really appreciate that. I picked up a couple new sponsors this year: Wilcox Construction, Luck Grove, and Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating. We got on the hood of the car. I still have Water Safari.
Nice.
Macedra Insurance, Farmers Insurance.
How you pronounce that? I was looking at that on the back of the car. Macedra Insurance is what it is. Okay.
Yeah. And I got Keith Plinsky Realty on the other side. Eastwood Detailing. I want to say thanks to Fastline Performance. He was pretty excited. All 3 of his cars, Sportsman, really? Sports, yeah.
Nice.
And shout out to Stone Motorsports. And the biggest one of all is I probably wouldn't be doing this or have the equipment I got if it wasn't for Travis and Ashley Welch. And Travis owns Ted's Body Shop, and Ashley owns Next Generation Graphics that did the lettering on the car. So I want to put a big shout out to them.
Yep. Not only is it a good-looking car, but it is a fast race car, too. Bret, thanks for getting back to me, man. I'm so happy for you. I'll be out some Friday soon, and we'll shake hands and share some stories and maybe have a Old Mill light after the race. How's that?
Doug, I appreciate it, and I appreciate you reaching out to me, because it gives me a chance to say thanks to the sponsors when I'm not right out of the car and people standing around and a camera in your face where you might forget somebody, this and that. So I appreciate what you do, and it gives me a chance to put their name out there on your show.
And again, we've known Bret for 34 years, so it's nice to see that he can still get it done out there and win against one of the hot guys in the division. Hit that blue E down in the corner. Make sure to subscribe, turn on your notifications, and do me a favor, guys, watch an ad. Don't just skip right by those ads at the beginning. At least watch one, because that's where I make a little bit of my money. We'll have lots of stuff up. We got some other people we're going to be tracking down from this week, so you guys, hey, enjoy your rainy weekend, and hopefully next weekend will go much better.